Now, as a youngin', I sadly never owned a console or indeed had any pocket money at all, so I spent many a weekend hanging around our local arcade, waggling the joysticks and mashing the buttons and pretending like it was actually me playing the demo. And yet, if I try doing the same as a 40-year-old man, I get booted out on my arse and called a, and I quote, proper wrongin' that's scaring the kids. But hey, I don't need to worry about appearing on any more government lists, because Evercade just released this cracking Bartop arcade machine, the Alpha, which lets you actually play hundreds of classic retro games from the likes of Capcom and Taito right there in your bedroom. And you don't even need to worry about pumping in an endless supply of coins. Although you will have to spunk out 229 punds to actually buy the bugger. Anyway, let's briefly shuffle back in time just over a week to when I actually unboxed and set up the Evercade Alpha, and then we'll prance away merrily back to the here and now and I'll deliver my full final frank review. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Alright, so first up, what do you get in this absolute beast of a box? Well, you've got yourself a quick start guide, you've got yourself one Evercade Alpha, you've got yourself a multi-head adapter, a Type-C to Type-A USB cable, and a pair of swappable bonus marquees that you can slide right in there at the top of the machine to change up the design. Now, as an older gaming geek, I've always dreamed about having my own arcade cabinet, but of course money and space means it's not exactly feasible. So a desktop solution like this, absolutely cracking idea. Let's just peel off the protective film. I'm gonna need to unscrew these corner bits to get to the final shreds. Okay, setup's pretty straightforward. Just plug the USB cable into the back end like so. And then no more buggering about, let's boot the Alpha up. I gotta say, I do adore how the on-off button basically looks like a coin slot. You've got a banging 80s style tune while you set it up. It's got to get connected to the Wi-Fi. And of course got the obligatory startup update. So first up, gotta say, absolutely adore the design of the Evercade Alpha here. It really does feel like having a mini arcade cabinet right there on your desk. That's because of the fantastic fine detailing that has gone into the construction of this thing. It was clearly a labour of love. This Mega Man edition has some beautiful artwork absolutely slathered all over it. You've got some character art surrounding that screen, and then of course you've got the light up marquee, which can be quickly and easily popped off and replaced with the two other alternatives. And then yes, down below that excellent glowing power button and the volume rocker. Sadly, you can't just press and hold a volume up or volume down to scale it all the way up or down. You do have to keep on bashing it. But a minor grumble at best. And then you've got a pair of cartridge slots, so you can slip in two Evercade cartridges at the same time. Nice and easy, just slips on in there. So overall, gotta say, Evercade Alpha is a proper stunner. Sure to delight any old gits who are into the retro stuff like me. And then there's the Evercade Alpha's 8-inch 4x3 IPS display, which again, an absolute cracker. For one, it's considerably larger than the dinky panels you'll find on the Evercade handhelds, which is frankly absolutely essential for any bullet hell type shenanigans, especially if you've got knackered old peepers like me. Means I've actually got a chance of surviving for more than 3.5 seconds in stuff like Batsugun. You've got a 1024 by 768 pixel resolution, which of course more than does all these retro classics justice. It's a really bright and poppy panel as well. In fact, if anything, these games look a bit too good. And if you'd prefer a more authentic finish, you can jump into the display settings. In here, you can not only play around with different aspect ratios, but you can also add in a bit of scanline action, get a proper CRT style effect. And inside the Evercade Alpha settings, you can also choose between a variety of different themes. Let's get some neon on the go. Lovely stuff. And the Evercade Alpha also boasts a beefy pair of stereo speakers built in there. You max out that volume, these absolutely crank out the chip tunes. Those classic 8-bit soundtracks and everything, absolutely banging stuff. You can of course use that rocker to quickly tweak the volume if you need to, and there is a 3.5mm headphone jack on the front end of the Evercade Alpha if you do want to game without disturbing anyone, although frankly the clackety-clack of those controls are far more distracting than any absolutely cracking 8-bit tunes and sound effects. And the Evercade Alpha also offers up a pretty comprehensive set of controls, certainly more than enough buttons for all the classic retro games that Evercade offers up. You've got your A, B, X and Y buttons, then also an L1 and an R1, sometimes used for turbo shooting, stuff like that. And up above those, you've got your start, your select/coin up, so you can keep on mashing that to get extra credits, and then the menu button as well. Those controls are pleasingly clacky, just like a proper arcade cabinet. Oh, I just used my special power-up, never mind. They spring back instantly, so they're perfect for mashing, like so. I absolutely cannot talk and play this game at the same time. But also, if you want to, you can just hook up a controller like a PlayStation controller, an Xbox controller, and also Evercade itself offers a variety of its own brand controllers that work with the Alpha. And this is particularly handy if, of course, you want to play 2-player, because you can't do that on the built-in controls. Hey, look at me, I'm actually destroying quite a lot of stuff while chatting at the camera. Really, really glad I'm capturing this on film. Ah, bollocks. The controllers do have to be wired in via the two front-facing USB ports. You can actually dive on into the settings and remap the controls if you want to. So both the Mega Man edition and the Street Fighter version of the Evercade Alpha come with 6 games pre-installed. Not many at all, although this is only if you don't count the hidden titles, which are stuffed on here, which you need to unlock by doing secret stuff, and as you can see, I'm doing not very well on that front at all. And actually here on the Mega Man edition, there are only 2 Mega Man titles, kind of confusingly, and neither of them are the classic platformers that I adore, even though they are tougher than a Wetherspoon's pork chop. What you've got instead is Mega Man the Power Battle and Mega Man 2 the Power Fighters, which are more your sort of standard beat-em-ups. They're perfectly fine. But then you do have some classic bangers on here as well, the likes of Strider, absolutely I love a bit of that. And of course Final Fight, Stone Cold Classic. But the real joy of the Evercade Alpha is the fact that you can slip in any of Evercade's existing cartridges, over 5 dozen of these wee buggers in total now. And then you can access all these extra games just by flipping over here and going to the cartridge section. As you can see, you've got tons more to choose from now. And again, if you're an old twat, you'll absolutely adore Evercade's offerings here, because not only do you get the cartridge in the box, but you also get a mini manual. And the manual is truly a labour of love as well. You've got generally a mini biography about the developer, the publisher, or the franchise that the collection is all about. And then you'll get a bit of history, bit of plot, background, etc. on each game, including some stats. The controls are laid out for you. Lovely bit of graphics as well, just to get you in the mood. And occasionally you'll even get bonus bits like interviews with the devs. So these things look fantastic. They're actually genuinely useful as well. And of course printed on shiny glossy paper, just like in the good old days. And thankfully you don't have to fret if you happen to misplace any of these manuals, because if you jump on into the game menus, you can read all about the game through the actual menu itself. You can get all of the main controls. You can also check out your stats for each game. And then of course jump straight into your previous saves, so no pissing about. And yes, thank God you can save your game. You've got 5 individual slots as well as a quick save slot, and it's very easy. Just basically hit this menu button at any point during a game, hit either quick save or save. You could also gift yourself infinite credits as well just by mashing that middle button. And honestly, between that and the save system, it's an absolute godsend. My reactions were never great when I was a kid, and now that I'm a middle-aged alcoholic with vision, let's just say things haven't improved too much. But even me with my knackered old peepers and my hands that shake like a shitting dog, I can still make it to the end of games like R-Type eventually on this thing. And the good news is as well that those saves all happen on the cartridges themselves. So if you want to, when you're about to bugger off out for the day, just take the cartridge out of the Alpha, slip it into your Evercade EXP or whatever other portable console you own, as long as it's Evercade obviously, and away you go, you can keep on gaming on the move. And as I say, that Evercade catalogue is expanding rapidly, and it's a retro gaming fan's wet dream. Got all kinds of different genres represented, even stuff like Duke Nukem 3D is starting to creep in there, as well as more modern 8-bit style indie titles. I've honestly got very few complaints about the Evercade Alpha. One of my only issues that I've run into is that when I've got a cartridge update available for one of my cartridges and I try to update it via the Alpha, I always get a cart update was unsuccessful message, which is rather irritating. And of course, bear in mind that the button layout here isn't exactly ideal for some of Evercade's titles, like Tomb Raider and stuff like that, for instance, where you definitely want shoulder buttons instead. But hey, overall, this thing I'm absolutely over the moon with. As an old school arcade lover, somebody who's always wanted to own one of these arcade cabinets in my home, this is the next best thing. No, it's not cheap, and yes, you do have to obviously pay extra for the Evercade cartridges to expand the game catalogue. You can't just basically plug in a hard drive and have yourself thousands and thousands of games right there at your fingertips. So, you know, as long as you've got the cash, definitely I'd say go for it. Anyway, that's my unboxing and review of the Evercade Alpha. Please do let us know what you think down in the comments below. Poke subscribe, ding that notifications bell, all the usual YouTube bollocks, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!